Creatures of the night, it's your girl Tati. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite. I thought it was a really good episode. I really did enjoy it. We did start off with the TBS title on the line. Tony Khan, thank you for giving us the ladies in action, especially for a title match to open the show. I absolutely appreciated that. I know a lot of us did. We had Mercedes Moné, the CEO, along with Camille ringside, going against Hikaru Shida. I really did enjoy this match. I was just like, hey, look, Mercedes ain't losing this. However, Hikaru Shida's not going to be playing games with her. Hikaru Shida comes out with a kendo stick, so you know she means business. And she really does lay the law in that ring with Mercedes. And I was very happy to be able to see, like, this is all I wanted. This is all a lot of us want, is just to see Mercedes in action. She's walking around with two titles and not necessarily, I don't feel like getting in the ring often when it comes within either of those titles. So it was great to see her not just in action, but to open the show in what I think was a strong opening with these two ladies. Now, you already know Camille is ringside, so that means there's time for foolishness. And that's exactly what we get. We do have Hikaru Shida getting distracted by Camille being out there. And she goes, you know what? Let me just stop what I'm doing with Mercedes, take this kendo stick and whoop Camille's ass. And while she's over here focusing on Camille, she's keeping her eyes off the prize, which is Mercedes in the title. And that right there is what ended up costing her match, because Camille is being such a big distraction out there. Now, after Mercedes does retain the title with a Monet maker, then we hear DMD music. Now, Mercedes and Camille are like, hey, we're ready for you. We know you're going to be coming out. Camille takes a few steps forward and she's walking onto the ramp because she thinks DMD is going to come out from the back. But then nothing happens. And then Camille looks to the side and see somebody in a disguise with a hoodie, you know how it is, black hoodies, a mask on, and thinking that that has to be DMD because DMD had that disguise one of the last times that she popped up on Mercedes. Now she goes over there and snatches that person up from from the barricade and then start beating them up. And we never even get to see who this person is, because then we start to see DMD coming from the crowd and ends up getting into the ring. She's taking like 60 years to get this damn glove in her hand so she can go for the lockjaw. And then during that time, I'm just like, wow, you're giving her a lot of time so you can put this glove on. She gets in the ring and she grabs onto the CEO, but isn't able to give her the lockjaw. Camille ends up snatching up CEO and making sure that doesn't happen. And then they end up walking towards the back, getting away from DMD. And whoever this person that was in the crowd who got their ass whooped by Camille, we never even get a chance to see who that is. Probably wasn't even important, just a diversion so that they can trick them. But not even the doctors coming out to check on that poor unfortunate soul. Interesting. Very interesting. So after this, we do have Jay Lethal and them back there. And Jay Lethal has a match against Hangman because Hangman, after last week, had attacked Jeff Jarrett. And Jay Lethal is just like, you know what? I'm barely in the ring anyway. I might as well beat you up for my friend. And while they're over there talking, here comes Hangman. And he's like, bitch, I don't got time for this. And just start whooping people's ass back there. And then gets his hands onto Jay Lethal. And they make it from the back out to the ring from there. And, they get in the ring, referee rings the bell, and that's music to my ears. And I'm looking at the situation, I'm just like, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. We haven't seen Jay Lethal in a while. I personally don't remember seeing Hangman and Jay go at it. So I thought this was going to be great. I'm just going to say this. A little underwhelmed with these two, because I'm like, damn, these are really talented guys, but I felt like we didn't get the Jay Lethal that we know we could have gotten in a match like this. It was a lot of Hangman being in control in this match. No cheating from Jeff Jarrett and all of them because they got beat up before the match anyway. So it was just a one-on-one clean fight for one. So when it comes to this group, and Hangman ends up taking the win with a buckshot lariat, which probably wasn't his best buckshot lariat, but it is what it is. We got the W. And throughout this match, you've seen Hangman go from angry to more of unhinged. His eyes, the way it's changing, and his facial expressions. And I really like that because I feel like week after week, we're seeing Hangman become, unhinged and crazy to probably psycho and demented and probably should be locked up in some insane asylum at some point. And I absolutely love it. Now, after this, we did get a little recap of MJF going over to Rev Pro this weekend, putting the American title on the line. And I really did enjoy the clips. Not just that, but they also gave a video package hyping up the whole thing for MJF and Ospreay for All In. And I'm going to say this, whoever it is that put this package together, they deserve a raise. This was beautifully done. And I'm going to come back to this package in a little bit after we talk about another one. But this, I really did enjoy it. It was a great way to get people hyped up to see All In. Tony Khan, you already got my money on it. But other people may have been sold on how wonderfully this video package was done. And I really did enjoy it. And it makes me feel really, really great. However, one person who not enjoying the video package is Pac. After the commercial, Pac is cutting a promo. He's like, you know what? I've been won this number 1 contendership for the AEW International title. And then y'all over here got Ospreay and MJF getting little scuffles. For the what is now called the American title. And then he goes and said, look, I don't care which one of you bitches have the title at the end of Wembley, but y'all gonna face me at All Out for the title. And I'm just gonna say this, because maybe other people felt the same way. And I'm just like, Pac, the UK guy not going to be wrestling at All In the UK. They literally saying, hey, Pac, whoever wins that match, you can go against them in 2 weeks at All Out in Chicago. And I was just like, man, I did not see that coming. Something about it I didn't see coming. Not necessarily of him not getting his title shot outside of being in Wembley, because obviously MJF and Ospreay thing was already set. But just not seeing Pac in the UK at all, from what it seems like, I'm just really not feeling it. I'm not feeling that at all. So it is what it is. And man, I just wish it was under better circumstances for Pac, because he does mention in this promo that he's sick and tired of being overlooked. And I think it would have been a great opportunity for him to be in the UK in front of friends and family in his country, being in that ring instead of them saving something for him to do at All Out in Chicago. That part, I'm a little bit of a bitter Betty about it. Now, after this, we do get a little promo from Darby Allin, who is God knows on whatever street, talking all this shit about how he was struggled to get to where he was, and that Jackson Perry is pretty much looking for the easy way out and being part of the elite, where basically they just let them do whatever the hell they want and get whatever opportunities and titles that they want. Real talk, though. It almost looked like them promos that they used to do. I mean, not promos, them commercials they used to do when they're just like, what are you doing on your couch? Go out there and go to college, go to school, get an education. It really was giving this type of vibe with it. I don't know what it was, but I absolutely, I thought it was funny. I didn't really care too much about it because they had this really sad violin music playing in the background. I'm just like, well, who the fuck died? I didn't care for the music, but Darby's always saying the same shit he always say. Whatever. We love you, Darby. After this, Darby supposedly supposed to have a match with somebody. I have no clue. And Darby, as he's making his way out, the lights are already dim, like how it usually is when he comes out. And then out of the blue, you see somebody knee just flying out of thin air, and it's Jackson Perry. He's attacking Darby Allin. They make it to the back, and they don't show the attack for like, I don't know, a good 30 seconds or so. They cut to Excalibur and them at, talking about what's going on. I'm just like, why not just follow them the whole way through? Like, no shade to the commentators. We don't want to see y'all right now. We want to see what the hell is going on between these two guys. Now, after what seems like a little too long to me, they took it to the back and you see them, fighting each other backstage. Now, Jackson Perry ends up taking Darby and he puts him on the ground, and it's one of those doors where you have to pull the chains and then it comes down, and he makes sure that he is literally in between where the ground and the door so that Darby can't move. Now, while he's doing this, here come a couple of the useless security guards who's trying to keep him away. Now what he's doing is he's taking that one of those big boxes that they always put the production stuff in, and what he's going to do is literally kill Darby Allin by slamming that shit onto him while he's laid there. And then like another 50 security guards come out and make sure it doesn't happen. Then here comes Jackson Perry coming in close into the camera, a little too close to the camera, and goes on and say, look, Darby, I hate your bitch ass, you and me at Wembley coffin match. And I was just like, oh, I love a good coffin. I'm cool with it. I am actually a little more excited to see that they had add this element of a coffin match. I don't know in terms of if that's going to be on the, side of Darby Allin in terms of taking a win, but definitely happy that they added a stipulation to this to, zhuzh it up a little bit. After this, back from commercial, Mariah May is cutting a promo on Toni Storm. She looks like she has some hotel or something, and she's burning up of Toni Storm's gear that she was wearing to the ring, and pretty much doing her own little movie, like how I guess Toni would do. I am interested still in a storyline. It is dying down a little bit for me. I wish it would feel a little bit more amped up as we're going towards the pay-per-view. After this, we do have Mina Shirakawa, who is being interviewed, and she's saying that she hasn't heard from neither one of these two, Toni or Mariah. And, she's really heartbroken about what's going on between the two of them. And she's like, well, I don't know who's going to win the match at all in, but she's just hoping nobody gets hurt. She is so cute. I love Mina. She's full of personality. She's cute. People love her. I want to see more of her. And I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up picking a side at All In. After this, we do have a triple threat match here, which, I don't understand. So it's Kyle O'Reilly, the Messiah of the Backbreaker, Roderick Strong versus Orange Cassidy. And whoever wins this gets the number one spot in the Casino Gauntlet match at the pay-per-view at All In. The person who wins that gauntlet match will get a guaranteed title shot for the world title. And I'm just like, wait a minute. So we're fighting to be first in the gauntlet match? Is this what we're doing? I'm still a little confused, because if that is the case, though, why would you want to be first? You would potentially be the person in the match the longest if you are first. So I don't know if it's something that I would be fighting for, or maybe I'm missing something about this. But whatever situation was, for some reason, this was my favorite match. I love me some Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong is, I feel like, I'm a heel at heart, so I'm always cheering for the heels. I love heels. I really do. Roderick is very talented, and maybe sometimes I feel like that's a little overlooked because he's a bad guy. And I loved him here. Kyle O'Reilly, too. You know what, Orange Cassidy, it's killing me to say something nice about you, but he's obviously a really talented wrestler, too. And I really like all their styles and how they mesh together. I absolutely love it. But the predictability, man, I don't know. It was really neck and neck, to be honest with you. But I do feel like, I think from watching this, you already knew Orange Cassidy was going to end up taking the win. He ends up taking the win with a crucifix pin on Kyle O'Reilly. I'm not seeing this type of pin a little bit more often. I feel like this is one of those things that we shouldn't see too often. I feel like I've been seeing it a little bit more often than usual. We did have the Kingdom that came out to help their gal pal, Roderick Strong. But then we had the conglomeration, Ishii, who's definitely getting paid, and Mark Briscoe, who come out to help Orange Cassidy. Well, you know what? This is interesting because Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly are in the conglomeration. Whatever situation is, they take out the Kingdom, so they take it to the back, and we don't see them anymore for the duration of the match. Orange Cassidy wins. I'm over it. After this, we have this little face-to-face thing with Okada and Castagnoli. Castagnoli and Okada will be facing each other next week on Dynamite. I know people are just like, what? What about the pay-per-view? Now, look, hear me out. I think it's a good idea because they're going to be doing their first Dynamite episode in Europe. They want to make sure everybody's asses is in that building. So they're definitely going to have to put in the work to get people to come on in there. And what better way to have a title on the line with Okada, the legendary Okada, and the legendary Castagnoli? Like, why not? You know, at first I was a little against it, but I opened my eyes to the idea. I'm cool with it. They had a little face off. Claudio basically is the good guy in the situation and he wants to take the title. Whoop-de-doo. We love you, Claudio. Okada is giving us his best English and, letting us know that he could care less about Claudio Castagnoli and that he's one of the best. He has won the G1 tournament, which is going on right now, 4 times, and he goes, basically calling him a bitch, and that's what everybody's waiting for. Everybody's just like, hold on, he's gonna say it, bitch. And I actually like when he says it, I think it's cool. Now, he ends up leaving, and then Claudio continues to talk, and he goes, you know what? I don't want this bitch Okada next week. I want the Rainmaker next week, and the one who won 4 G1s. Like, I want that. And he goes, Okada, you got 99 problems, and this bitch is one. And I was just like, holy shit. I loved it. That was pretty smooth. After this, we had our stepdaddy basically sort of kind of addressing what happened at Collision, where we had no winners, and he ended up taking out both of House of Black and Bang Bang Gang. He really don't want to explain anything. For whatever reason, Killswitch is still not wearing his damn title, but he still looks so good, though. He looks so good. And for whatever reason, we just kind of shift focus to Nick Wayne making an example out of Kip Sapien. Whenever that match is going to happen, I don't know. I have no clue. Christian just ended up kicking Renee out because he don't like the way her tone is when she's talking to him. He's a fucking boss, but I don't know what the fuck is happening here. Whatever. After this, though, Shivani in the ring and introduces Hook, who's returned, and I'm just like, oh, I guess it's been that long since we've seen Hook, so I guess this is a return. That's what we're calling it. Hook comes out, and Hook got on. He always has that beanie on his head, but then he has this bandage thing that's just covering his eye, one of his eye, from the fireball incident that happened. And I'm not gonna lie, when Hook came out last week, I don't really remember that he was even wearing one before, but he got one this week. Now he's here and he's talking about Chris Jericho. He obviously wants the FTW title back. And then Chris Jericho comes out. Chris Jericho, he's like, oh, you want to face me tonight? You want to fight tonight? And he goes, no. Calls him a stupid son of a bitch. And then he goes, next week on Dynamite, you're going to be going against Big Bill. Big Bill's just like, oh, you know what? Next week, I'm going to shove you up Taz's ass. And I'm not going to lie, that made me laugh. I thought that was funny. And I'm just going to say this. Long story short, Chris Jericho go on to say that he's going to be facing Hook at Wembley for the FTW title. And I'm over it. I'm already over it. We can't even get Pac on the damn show, but we're getting the Learning Tree versus Hook. And then I'll say this about this little promo situation tonight. Hook, baby, you need to put a bass in your voice or something, because I am just not convinced with your promos. Even if your promos are not strong, if he had like a really, something with his voice where it was just commanding and something, it's just like something's missing. And I don't know. I just really couldn't get behind this. It's hard to take it a little bit seriously, but that's the match we're going to get. FTW title on the line. This is not even a fucking official title. We don't care. We don't care. Now, after this, we do have the Acclaimed versus the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Championships. And I'm just like, finally, this is all I wanted was for y'all to damn put the damn titles on the motherfucking line. And the match was okay. I'm not going goo goo gaga for it, but somewhat entertained. During the watch along, we were just making a lot of jokes on these guys or whatever, talking about their outfits and their haircuts or lack of haircuts. The match was okay. We ended up having Daddy Ass getting kicked out from ringside, and people were not happy about that. He ends up leaving because obviously the referee's like, get the fuck out, you're distracting me. And he leaves, and now we just have these two teams going at it. I think it's very obvious that we knew that the Young Bucks was going to retain. I mean, this is like, what, a couple of days before Wembley, so there's just no way. And while things are just getting a little bit out of hand, we do have FTR who comes out after the referee somehow just get hurt, and now all of a sudden he's unconscious for X amount of time, and they're actually, well, they're helping. Now the referee somehow regains consciousness and sees Dax over there fighting, and he's just like, oh, no. We're ringing this bell. They ring the bell, match is over, and the Young Bucks retain. Now FTR and Acclaim is somehow getting into a little scuffle. Meanwhile, the Young Bucks kind of just creeped on out the ring and make it into the bag. They don't want to get into this foolishness. It is what it is. Now we do have backstage Renee and Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels is not happy about this. Then he goes on to say that on Collision this weekend, it's going to be FTR versus the Acclaim. Winner of that match will face the Young Bucks for the tag titles at All In. And at this point, I think a lot of us are over it, and we're just like, just make this like, all three teams just go at it or whatever and just call it a day, because it just seems like a lot of back and forth and never really getting who those opponents are. We're over it. After this, we have a beautiful video package of for Bryan Danielson, and man, I'm not gonna lie, it did come off like maybe he died, but it was so good. They played in the video package. They played "Good Riddance" by Green Day. Green Day is a really great band, by the way. And like I said, it gave kind of like that vibe, like he died or whatever. But we know what this is about. It's about the retirement thing. And that is one of his favorite songs and whatnot. So they end up playing it. Yeah, no, Tony Khan, he's gonna get the music, especially for Danielson. Well, I did enjoy this. I have to be honest and say that the video package earlier from with MJF and Ospreay, I thought was done better, and I'll tell you why. Because this one with Bryan made me emotional. It really did. But because a big chunk of Bryan's career was in WWE, and we obviously don't have any of that to put in this package. And then versus the package that we got earlier with MJF and Ospreay, they are pretty much able to show everything that has happened between them in AEW. They're able to show things from Rev Pro. They're able to show things from New Japan to put a really nice package together where it feels like you can see their careers playing out right in front of you while they are hyping up this pay-per-view. So I thought that was done nicely, and it felt almost a little bit more because of that, like a bigger deal in comparison to Swerve versus Danielson. They were done very nicely. I really enjoyed them. You can actually watch them on YouTube. They did post those. But that was the only thing for me. I felt like after watching those two videos that Ospreay and Maxwell's video came out much better because they actually had footage for it. That. Now, main event, Swerve versus Wheeler Yuta. Bryan Danielson, who is sitting like front row, standing front row and watching the whole thing. Now, if it was me sitting next to Bryan Danielson in that crowd, I would have talked his ear off. They probably would have had to move me and say, hey, you distracting him, go sit somewhere else. This is Bryan Danielson we're talking about. Really great match with Swerve and Wheeler Yuta. Swerve, I feel like every time we see him, you see more champion quality out of him, and I absolutely love it. I know some people have complained about his title reign, but I feel like if you're really paying attention and just keep all the biasness or any other thoughts away, you can actually see the progression in terms of how he looked as a champion. And Wheeler Yuta is a really great opponent for Swerve that'll help give that imagery of what a champion should look like. And Swerve, man, he is doing it. I absolutely really love what we're seeing with Swerve right now. This was a lot of Swerve really being in control. He's obviously the champion. He's going to come out on top. This is him really making Wheeler Yuta suffer in front of Danielson, who's literally right there. And at times, Danielson is just looking all sad, like, damn, my son is getting his ass whooped. After giving Wheeler Yuta, I want to say, was it 3 house calls? Yeah, 3 house calls back to back. Swerve ends up taking the win. And I was just like, damn, 3 house calls? Wheeler Yuta, you should have picked up after the first house call. It was really great. I enjoyed it. Tony Khan did have the main event commercial free, and we had that overtime money that came through. So we had a few minutes after normally when the show would be over to give us a little bit more, and I absolutely appreciated that. After that, Danielson come in the ring. He's checking up on his boy Yuta while Swerve is at the stage, and he's talking shit to Danielson, basically saying how his family, how Danielson's family is going to be at All In, sitting in the front row watching his ass get whooped, especially his daughter. And he said you won't keep that promise you made to your daughter because your ass is gonna retire at All In, and you're gonna be able to go home and be with your daughter. Now, it seems like Swerve had left, but then while Danielson is tending to our boy Wheeler Yuta, here comes Swerve coming from behind and giving a beautiful house call to Danielson. And I'm just like, this is how you end the show. This is how you do it. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I thought this was a good show. Some people may not have liked it. I thought it was great. We're going towards All In, and it feels really good. I was very pleased. Last week, didn't care too much about the show, but this week definitely made up for a lot of things. Tony Khan, we really do appreciate what you do, and can't wait to see how we're going to transition things to next week with them being in Europe for Dynamite. Oh, I cannot wait to see how the crowd is going to be for that show. So let's keep our fingers crossed for a really, really, really great crowd. You know how it is with these international crowds. They absolutely love pro wrestling. And we'll see how that goes. I'll be back tomorrow for Ring of Honor. Saturday is my last collision that they're doing over there in Texas. So no live stream for that. But I will be also doing a review. Guys, thanks so much for watching this review. See you guys tomorrow for Ring of Honor.